I'm right here.
Oh, okay. There we go. All right. Thank you.
Hi.
Okay, we're live. Good evening and welcome to the Planning, Economic Development and Zoning Housing Committee. Today is Wednesday, November 3rd. The committee is being held virtually and is broadcasted through Hartford Public Access Television on Comcast TV Channel 96 and Frontier TV Channel 630. It would also be streamed on live on hartfordpublicaccesstv.org and Hartford Public Access TV Facebook. And for the community who's not able to join us, the committee can also be looked at a later date, and it is available at our Hartford Public Access TV YouTube channel. So good evening, everyone, and welcome. The committee members here tonight. We have Councilman Sanchez. We have Councilwoman Marilyn Rossetti. I believe that's it for the members of the committee. And good evening again. My name is Shirley Surgeon, and I'm the chair of the Planning, Economic Development, and Housing Committee. We're also joined
Madam Chair, quick question. Do we have a quorum with just the three of us?
That's two-person, three of us, yes.
Okay.
And we are also joined by our esteemed attorney, Attorney Velasco. So welcome again. And we have several items on the committee agenda, and I'm going to ask the committee members if we may take them out of order, if they don't mind, because we have guests here that is joining us who are going to be appointed with a recommendation to different committee. And so the first item we have on the agenda is a resolution by Mayor Bronin confirming the appointment of Luz Calderon to the Housing Authority. That was item number 3.9 on our October 12th council agenda. And just got a note from our council president, Rosado, who is also a member, but will be joining the committee meeting. That was the first item, and I believe we do have with us Ms. Calderon. You're here with the committee virtual meeting. Great. But before I introduce you, Ms. Calderon, we also have the Housing Authority chairperson. I'm sorry, the director. I apologize. Annette Saunderson. And if Mrs. Saunderson is hearing us, would just love to tell us a little bit about the Housing Authority and the number of members you have, and where are we with membership or commission for your Housing Authority?
Yes, can everyone hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. It's good to see everybody. We currently have 4 members of the commission, the Board of Commissioners, I should say. The position of Tenant Commissioner has been vacant since 2000, approximately 2 years. The last person to hold that position left the position because, good for her, she was able to purchase a home in another town. So we went through, there's a described process in the statutes through which you have to give the residents the opportunity to weigh in on who they would like to be the tenant commissioner. We went through that process pre-pandemic, and unfortunately, no one submitted their name. So there wasn't, there was one person who submitted their name, I should say, but it didn't occur through the formal nomination process. It was a person who submitted their own name. And then ultimately, after several conversations with others, that person decided not to move forward with their submission. So, and then the pandemic happened, quite honestly, and things, this position has been vacant for a while. So it would be great to have a full complement of commissioners on the board. I'll tell you, the role of tenant commissioner is an interesting one, in that obviously, the commissioner would play a role in terms of setting policy, like all the commissioners do. Obviously, the commissioner would need to be confidential, would need to keep our certain matters confidential. But also, the tenant commissioner has the added responsibility of going out there and interacting with the tenant community. We have, as former chair Marilyn Rossetti knows, we have a fairly active of people that live in our developments. They have what we call resident councils. They have formed their own individual resident councils, and they've been quite active in the past. They typically show up at our board meetings via conference call at this point. And I think that whomever, if it moves forward with Ms. Calderon, it's going to be incumbent upon her to go out there and establish those ties and those relationships to the current tenant leaders, because they are quite active and they do want representation on the board. It's also a fine line for the tenant commissioner. It's not the role of a tenant commissioner to call us and say, hey, my neighbor or a person who lives in Smith Towers is having a problem in their unit. That's not the role of the tenant commissioner. The tenant commissioner is there to appropriately advise those people to use the resources that are in place, like the complaint line, what we call the 8500 number. So we don't expect the tenant commissioner to say, I have a list of issues going on in particular units. That's not something that we discuss at a board meeting, because sometimes it involves confidential matters. It's the role of the tenant commissioner to bring the general concerns of our residents forth to the board. And obviously there's training that should occur. There's a great program that we expect all of our commissioners to take part of, and that's a program, a HUD-sponsored program called Lead the Way. And quite honestly, HUD wants all of our commissioners and all of our senior staff, including people like myself, to take this training. There's other sponsored training that we do. And then a few years ago, we put together an orientation policy for our commissioners. And I believe 2 years ago, when Ms. Calderon first approached me about her interest in serving on the board, I actually shared the orientation policy with her. So I'm hopeful that she's had some time to take a look at it. But the last thing I'll say is that Ms. Calderon is a resident in good standing with the Housing Authority. Therefore, she meets the basic requirements of serving in the role of tenant commissioner.
Great. Oh, thank you, Mrs. Sutterson. That certainly sounds like a really, really important role of the tenant commissioner for the value that she brings to the overall board and to the organization. Good evening, Ms. Calderon. Are you present?
I'm right here. Hello.
Oh, great. Well, welcome. You have a huge role and responsibility. Tell us a little bit about yourself and the committee members, of why you believe or why you wanted us to be involved and represent the residents on this board.
Hi, my name is Luz Calderon. I live here in Stowe Village. I'm been living in housing authorities for the last 13 years. Very excited about this. I'm a church member. I'm also a chaplain, which means I work with all kinds of different people, all kinds of temperatures, kinds of attitudes. And I always look for the peace of the people, always trying to find a way of talking things out instead of always solving things with violence. Very confidential. I believe in that what says here stays here. Also, I did meet Miss Anderson. She's a very nice lady. She did show me a little bit, and I do have the booklet. I will be looking into it. Not much to say. I do live here in Stowe Village, and for the last couple of years, for some reason, most of the tenants come up to me with questions or, Luz, can you translate this? Can you translate that for me? And I'll always try to find a way of giving them information. And I agree with what Ms. Anderson said. I really don't expect to be a person bringing a list of problems of the tenants. I like to give information. Listen, this is the right way to go when you want to solve this kind of problem, that kind of problem. I just want to fill in whatever is shown to me as to do in this role in the Housing Authority. I'm ready to give my best, my all, and always try to find a way to help out, how to do the things for the tenants, but also for housing.
Wow, that's fantastic. You certainly have the personality for it, Mrs. Calderon. And thank you for really considering giving back to the community. I would not open the floor to any of the members who would like to ask any questions or comment.
Can you see me?
Yes, ma'am.
Through you, Madam Chair. First of all, I'd like to say hello to Director Sanderson. How are you? I'd like to say hello to potential Commissioner Calderon. As Annette pointed out, as a former commissioner for 9 years, probably one of the best 9 years. Annette knows this. I just got so much out of serving on the Housing Authority, not only the work, the people, what we were able to do. Ms. Calderon, you're so lucky to have Annette's leadership, taking that online class, which was hard, but I learned so much. I felt like I really achieved something. But Annette is right. You fall into a unique position. You have to kind of be on both sides of the fence. And I admire anybody who's been a tenant commissioner. It is far more difficult than what we were doing, but I think you're in that role already. And this will just make it formalized. And like I said, Annette is a great leader. You're in good hands. Jeff is a great chair. Who else is on? Jim, Patty LaShane. Who else is that? And one more person. Do you have one more?
I said it was 4.
Yeah.
You hit them already.
I admire your dedication to the city and to wanting to serve. And you'll never find, I am biased, a finer commission than the housing.
Thank you, former commissioner, now council member. Ms. Calderon, you see, by being involved in your community.
I said I was biased.
That's okay, ma'am. That was a passion for you. It really was a passion for you. So we understand. So any other members of the committee have any questions or comment?
Yes, I'm not sure if you can see me.
I can't see everyone, so please go ahead, sir.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. And it's a pleasure seeing you, Director Sanderson, I'm sorry. So I have a question for the director. So, I understand what you stated here in the role of the tenant commissioner, but maybe I missed it, isn't it also the responsibility of the tenant commissioner to bring to the board issues that could affect more than one person, and in that way is able to address what could be an issue that's compounding?
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's not only just for the tenant commissioner to bring information and share it and educate the tenants, but it's also on the reverse, where the board needs to be aware of what's going on within the housing authority, or not the housing authority, but the housing where all the tenants are living, correct?
Absolutely, yes. It is the role of the tenant commissioner to bring forth that's why I use the term general concerns of the resident community to the commissioners.
Okay, appreciate that, Director. And then to Luz Calderon, Stowe Village. Haven't heard that word in a while because I lived out there. And 87 Hampton Street, 2nd floor. And I miss it, I'll be honest with you. It was a quite unique community where everyone recognized, who lived there, and basically we policed ourselves, we protected ourselves, So my question to you, it sounds like you have the experience in working with the community and tenants and helping them out. I truly appreciate that. That's a service in itself. My question to you is, do you have the time, because I'm pretty sure this will be no different than any other commissioner position where time is required, dedication is required, and it could be overwhelming at some point. So are you ready for that?
Yes, I have the time because I'm a housewife. Besides being a teacher in Bible Institute, I do that once a week. God member church. I'm also an evangelist. I go around and preach when I have to. Usually that happens at night. But as for the time, as for doing this job as a commissioner working with the housing, yes, I do have the time. Just like I have the time to listen to the neighbors, listen to them, because I also live here in housing, and I wish somebody could hear me whenever I want to speak. And working with different kind of people all the time, yeah, I think I have the time. I like to learn. I like challenges. I like to see how can I help, how can I make a difference? Definitely, yeah.
And that's great. And I also appreciate, Director, that you do have training to offer for commissioners. And Ms. Calderon, I strongly advise you take advantage of that education, because it can actually propel you to further, serve our community. So I really appreciate that, and also thank you for your interest in this position.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome, sir.
Councilman Sanchez, I just want to add one comment. The best street, I'm partial to Stowe Village as well, because I grew up there, spent the first 12 years of my life there, and manage it now, obviously. And I just have to say the best street was Kensington Street.
Kensington, are you sure about that? Hampton was pretty good.
68 Kensington Street, apartment 303. Apartment 303.
Across from 87 Hampton Street. That's where we used to get our cheese.
Okay, well, let's get this committee back together again. And we don't know which one of the streets in Stowe Village is going to win on this committee, but I think we definitely know that Stowe Village was a great place to live. I have numerous friends who have lived in Stowe Village. So, Ms. Calderon, I think you, after 12 or 13 years living there, you're carrying a lot of history on your back from a lot of people who have lived there and believe in that community. So thank you so very much for stepping up to the plate and wanting to do this. I wish more residents will do that. So do I have a motion? If there's any other questions or comments? Hearing none or seeing no hands, if I miss someone, please speak up. Do I have a motion on the floor?
Yes, I'd like to send this resolution for the appointment of Luz Calderon to the Court Common Council with a favorable recommendation.
I second it.
Okay. We have a motion that's been properly second. Any comments, questions, concerns? No hands raised, hearing none. How do the committee vote on positively sending back to the council, overall council, a favorable recommendation on appointing Ms. Luz Calderon to the Great Housing Authority?
Aye.
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 Madam Chair, for the
Yes,
record,
ma'am.
I'd like to recuse myself. I do work for the record for the Hartford Housing Authority.
Thank you, Council President. The Council President is present, but is recusing herself from voting. So please, the Council, the report will definitely state that, Madam Council President. So Ms. Calderon, congratulations. The committee have all faith in you. We look so forward to working with you. Mrs. Sanderson, thank you very much for your time. You always take the time to come and educate the committee members regarding your great organization, and keep up the good work. I believe you've got a great asset in Ms. Calderon joining your boards and commission, that she's going to certainly keep making this a great place to live in the city of Hartford. So thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we have one more item on the agenda. We've got some great committee guests with us. So the second item on the agenda is a mayor's resolution confirming the appointment of Andres Jimenez Frank as an alternative member from an alternative member as a regular board member for the City of Hartford Planning and Zoning Commission. And the mayor is recommending appointing Gary Bazzano as a regular member and appoints Raul, and I'm going to mess up your name, Mr. Raul Izari, as an alternative member to the Planning and Zoning Commission. And this item was on our October 25th council agenda, and it was sent to our committee. Mr. Raul, I apologize if I did not pronounce your name properly, so please.
There's a lot of R's in there, so it's okay.
So tell me, how do I pronounce that properly?
Yeah, it's Raul Irizarry.
Irizarry. Okay.
You got it. Yep.
Irizarry. All right, I'm working on it. Great.
You got it. No, that was good.
Great. Well, thank you very much for joining us. And one of the things I would like to start with would be Mr. Bazzano, who is a reappointment from the recommendation from the mayor. Mr. Bazzano, are you here with us?
I am. How are you all?
Oh, good evening, Mr. Bazzano. As a member or a current member of the Planning and Zoning Commission, could you tell us a little bit about your time as the being on that commission over what? How long? First of all, how long?
3 years.
Have you been serving?
Yeah, it's been 3 years now already. My gosh, time flies. And because of such turnover on it, I happen to be one of the more senior members. I think it's the vice chair, Gil, and then I think it goes me, and everybody else is fairly new on that commission. But it's gone well. We've had some interesting applications as of late. And, even though we've had a lot of turnover, things have gone fairly smoothly, and I've enjoyed my time so far on the commission.
Great. And you are also a Hartford resident, Mr. Bazzano?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And so we also have with us, let me not go to the next general. If any members of the committee, at any point, unfortunately, I can't see any of the raised hands. So please just let me know if you need to speak. So let me also now introduce Mr. Andres Jimenez Frank. Mr. Frank, good evening and welcome to the Planning, Economic Development and Housing Commission. Committee. I'm in the really commission today. Tell us a little about yourself and why would you like to join this committee?
Sure. I've lived in Hartford for 5 years. As the agenda reflects, I've been an alternate member for this past year. I joined right before the pandemic, so it was an interesting tenure. It was all virtual. I think we only had a handful of in-person meetings, but as Mr. Bazzano stated, I found it to be a very fulfilling experience. I'm still very passionate about helping out in any way that I can. I studied under our previous chair, Sarah Bronin, and she taught me some of the basics of planning and zoning and some of the policies that are behind codes. And kind of part of that was teaching us about how City of Hartford came to the code that it has today, which was redone a few years ago. So I was very interested by that. And then when I was approached with the opportunity to serve as an alternate commissioner, it was very easy to say yes. I believe in our community. I spend my weekends here. I spend my dollars here. So I very much believe in the people here and what the future holds for Hartford. I'm happy to answer any questions anybody might have.
Great. Mr. Frank, I remember you last year. Okay, and we also have with us, Raul Izari. I'm getting it, yay. Mr. Izari, please let us tell us about, and now you're going to be an alternate member of the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Yeah, you got it. And some background on myself is born and raised in Hartford, mainly in the South End, to be honest with you, but a lot of different places in the South End. Currently live in Hartford. Through studies, through what I've been interested in is really having our residents have a really nice experience outside, really, and existing outside in a safe way. And that's led me into work, specifically into parks, into access to green space and the importance that brings, and coupling that with our landscape, which is a very heavily built environment. So Hartford itself is super dynamic. Parks are home to me. Hartford parks, we all know, are amazing. And I'm just excited to be able to contribute in whatever way I can to the development of the city of Hartford. So thank you for having me here.
No, thank you for talking with us.
Yeah.
I would like to open the floor to any of the committee members who would like to ask any questions of all three recommendations.
Yes, I do, Madam Chair.
Please go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair, and through you, Madam Chair. So this question, and it's going to be a few questions and some comments. So I'll start with with my comments and statements. One of the issues in my 6 years as a councilman here, I've been receiving calls, emails, texts, complaints, and a lot of it is from small businesses, and one was for a renovation of a single-family home. Because of the revamping of the policy for zoning, it has come to my attention that there's quite a bit of issues. For example, when it comes to small businesses, signage is a major issue. And my concern here is that the commissioners for this board, I'm not sure if they have an understanding to what the needs are for our small businesses in our community. So my question to Mr. Bazzano and also to Mr. Jimenez Frank, have you experienced what I just stated, and what have you done to help?
Would you like me to go first?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Councilor Sanchez, you like my background picture? Thanks for it.
It's pretty good.
I happened to get it from him one day. I said, "Where'd you get that picture?" So he sent it to me. I love it. The items you're speaking about, particularly the three-family home you were speaking of, multifamily, we'll call it?
No, it's a single-family home.
Single family, okay.
Yes, it was an abandoned property, and an older couple that lived behind it decided to take the chance of purchasing it and renovating.
Okay.
And it has been a very unfriendly experience until I had to get involved and help them out and work it out. So now they're moving forward.
So, and they're renovating it just to continue to be a single family home?
Correct.
Okay, I don't know anything about that. It never came before the commission. I find that a lot of the items that come forward are handled at staff level instead of at the commission level.
I must correct you. It did come to the board. This was at least 8 months ago.
You remember the address? Do you have any particulars on it?
No, I can look it up on the map right now, but
yeah, it doesn't ring a bell. If it was just a renovation, there were no variances, it didn't go to zoning board of appeals. Is that what the issue was? I honestly can't remember that on planning and zoning, and I don't think I've missed any meetings, maybe one. And it wouldn't have been inland wetlands. And if it was just a renovation of a house, I don't know why that would come before planning and zoning anyway. So while you're doing, go ahead.
So here's the thing. So the policies are made, right? And what I see is that the policy, obviously we must follow the policy, but policy is created, but it is never black and white. Policy should still be you should still be able to amend it or waiver some of the rules because it doesn't apply to every single situation. It is not a solid black and white situation where the commission needs to understand this, but and I'm not saying everyone, but it seems to me that there are certain folks that have blinders and don't want to look either way and assist our resident. And I'm talking about a resident that was willing to spend thousands of dollars, and they're elderly again, of their money to beautify a dilapidated building in their neighborhood. And why give them such a challenge? You know, and that's not right. Now, our businesses, whether they're residents here or not, the businesses pay taxes to the city. I would expect the commission to support them. And instead of, no, you can't do this, it's like Director I. Charles says, we're going to help you to get to that yes. Here you go. This is a concept I'm hoping that can change with the planning and zoning. Now, I must say that Director Amy Chambers is phenomenal in helping a lot of the folks, because she is the first person I reach out to. And, you know, I know she doesn't control the commission, but the commission needs to be able to also work with our community. And this is the whole point of having that board.
So I understand where you're coming from. If you can get me that application or the address, and I could ask Director Chambers about it, because again, I don't know why a single family renovation, there's tons of renovations through the city every day. Why that would come to the commission is beyond me. But if it did, I don't remember it. So was it denied?
No, I got involved and then they're moving forward. They were helped. I'm just trying to find out what is, you know, the issue here, where, you know, I just don't feel that we have folks that understand our community. So I know you've been on there, and I know you understand that the community and helping them out, but I just want to make sure that it improves. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, that's fine. And like I said, maybe it was done at staff level and you went to the staff and squared it away because.
No, it went to the board. It went to the board.
It went to the commission. Okay. Again, I'd love to see that address. If you can get it for me, I'll go back and look at it.
I will let you know.
The issue you run into a lot with zoning is that zoning is zoning, right? It's got to fit. And I know you don't want to hear this, but you have a circle that has to fit into a circle. You can't put the circle in the square, right? And when you start making exceptions to certain things, then you've blown out the zoning regs, right? You've said, okay, well, we're not going to do that zoning reg. We're going to do this. Now, if you have special permits and things like that, you can be a lot more flexible. But if it's something that doesn't fit in that district, it's very difficult at that time to try and make it fit, because if you allow it for that, then you've just, like I said, blown away your zoning regs. And now everybody's going to want to do the same thing. Yeah, we have there's one thing I remember, I think for barbershops have to be at least 1,500 feet away from another barbershop or something like that. Or salon,
that I
whatever
understand.
you want. Right. So if you said, okay, we're going to make it, we're going to let this guy do it 500 feet away from another barbershop or salon, what happens to be, then you've just opened up, you've basically taken that zoning reg and said, it really doesn't matter. We're going to do what we want. And you can't do that with zoning, unfortunately. So, I understand where trust me, if we can be flexible, and Director Chambers, like you said, is tremendous. I think she's awesome. I was talking to somebody the other day about it, and they spoke very highly of her. I said, she's really good at what she does, and she wants to make it work. And so does the commission. We are not, Commissioner Frank will probably tell you that I don't think we've denied any applications other than one a couple of weeks ago, and one closely that almost would have been denied, I believe, a few weeks ago too. Since I've been on the commission, I don't remember. There was a denial up in the South End one time, and that's all I remember. So, we do our best to make it fit, okay, within our regulations. Okay, as you know, our regulations are like your charter, right? We have to abide by what we have, or else we'll get sued, right? We will get appealed. Attorney Vasallo can tell you that, right? If we don't agree, if we come up with something that doesn't fit or has changed, we will have an appeal or a suit from somebody on something like that. So it's important for us to follow our regs, but in the situations where we can be flexible, we are flexible.
So I could tell you, I'm looking at my map right here. It's on Claremont Street. Click CLERMONT. Claremont
And this
Street.
was a single family home renovation.
Correct. But, you
Um,
know,
number?
and I understand what you're stating. I just know that, you know, in any policy in this, you have to you know, you have to be strict to that policy, but
Right.
there are wiggle rooms. Just
If
please
there-
find those
yes,
wiggle rooms.
right.
Can
And
I
there are those
ask, can I jump
situations.
in? Let
Go
me
ahead.
jump in a
Yes.
second and see if Mr. Frank has anything to add to the conversation as a member of the commissioners there currently.
I'll echo what Mr. Brazano said. I can't recall the situation we're talking about now. I will give kudos to Mr. Brazano, though. I think he's one of the more pro-business members of our commission. And I think in our meetings, he very much works with the applicants so that they can, you know, move their small business forward and get what they need from at our level to get onto the next stage. If it's something, you know, oftentimes I'll also echo what he said earlier about some of the difficulties being maybe at the staff level. And if it's something to do with the regulations, I think that's something that we can do as commissioners and make it a text amendment to our code. If it's something that's giving an obstacle or a hurdle to applicants, so we can go back and you know, look at it and see what we can change to make it easier for people if it's proving to be cumbersome, right? Just because something is the law doesn't mean it's, you know, right? We change the law all the time, and we can definitely do that with the text if it doesn't make sense. You know, that's something that I'm willing to look into and be open to. I know we've had in recent meetings a lot of or a couple text amendments come forward. One of them with the new marijuana legislation. We had another one dealing with some 5G connectivity questions. So the issues come up, and in my experience so far, and I haven't been a member for too long, but my fellow commissioners have been, you know, open to revisiting what's already written in our code and changing it if we need to.
Thank you.
Thank you,
that's
Madam
true.
Chair. I appreciate that, Mr. Frank, and also please look into the signage. That's a major issue with small businesses for some odd reason. And then if I may continue, Madam Chair.
Yes, sir. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Raul Irizarry. How you doing? So
I'm doing
my
well.
question.
How you doing,
Good.
Jimmy? Good.
So my question to you is that this is you know, obviously you have to be dedicated, right?
Yeah.
But you also have to have the time.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you have a full-time job as well. So I always ask this question: do you have the dedication and the time? The time, especially with this commission, is quite time-consuming.
You got it.
So, you know, and that's where the dedication come in. And I'm hoping that, you know, and thank you for your interest. And I understand you know, it's not a full commission, but interim. So do you have that?
Yeah, no, yeah, that's a really good point. I think, you know, capacity to show up is important, just to be there. And yeah, I do have that. I have, like you said, a full-time job. I'm also a big, like I'm born and raised in Hartford. I'm all about Hartford. I have let other responsibilities go so I can be on this commission because I want to dedicate my time to it, as I've been dedicating time specifically on the ground with the community. That's just what I like to do, specifically in the Park Street corridor. You know, that's a lot of where I was raised and grew up. And again, it's just my dedication to Hartford. I've just made myself available and do see this as a priority in my life because ultimately it affects everyone's public health, right? All these decisions and being able to be dedicated to that. And I take that very seriously. So that, as I said before, it's a very good question. But yeah, I'm here and for the city. So.
And I'd like to thank all three of you for your service and your interest. Thank you.
Councilor Sanchez,
just for having us.
One quick thing, Councilor. You gave me Claremont. Did you have a street number on that home on Claremont?
I tried to look for it, but it's So if you're going west on New Britain Avenue, you take a right in Claremont Street, and then you go all the way down, and it's a dead end kind of. And there's at the very dead end, there's a street to your left. So it's the house on your right prior to that street. And you'll see that it's probably the newest siding on it or what have you. You'll recognize it right away.
Okay, I'll just verify with Director Chambers and see
If you
there's
want,
any.
you can reach out to me and we can take a drive. But
Yeah,
that's just
okay.
an example. They're all set.
Sure, right.
That's just an example.
I just want to make sure that it didn't come before us and I just don't remember it, that's all.
I
Getting old,
believe-
you know.
I believe it was 62 Claremont. And I believe it was the ZBA.
That would make more sense.
Okay, thank you, Attorney Velasco. Any other members of the committee have got any? Go ahead, Madam.
Through you, Madam Chair, and Attorney Vassallo.
Asalo. Jesus, I'm going to get that together.
It's like a little switch. And I won't even start in with anybody else's name. I also want to just echo my colleague, Councilman Sanchez. I thank anybody who wants to put their time out to a commission. I know I'm biased with the other commission. We won't bring that up. But any commission, the work, the time, the effort, the earnestness, it really is appreciated. It does not go unrecognized. And thank you for your time and service.
Thank you.
Any other member? Madam, I'm sorry, did I see the council president?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, please go right ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to echo the sentiments of my colleagues. Thank you all so much for volunteering your time to this great city. Congratulations. Raul Irizarry, it's a pleasure to see you being appointed to this board. Andres, thank you for everything that you do. And Gary, I love to see you on the screen. I mean, you know,
I know, we haven't seen each other in a long
dedicated to
time.
Hartford. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
So that's it,
Great.
Madam Chair.
Sure.
you.
Any other committee members? I can't see everyone on the screen today. Nobody's speaking up, so I presume that. So is there a motion? Well, before I ask for a motion, just have a comment to everyone that's going to the Planning and Zoning Commission. I just want to ask you to be very sensitive to the businesses and to the residents as far as the zoning codes are in the city. I know the zoning codes were changed several years ago, but there are some concerns in the community, which I know of, that don't believe some of the zoning codes is appropriate. For example, if you look at the main thoroughfares, for example, North Main Street or Route 44 Albany Avenue, it requires family living in comparison to just being a strictly commercial street. So taking a look at some of those codes, I would love you commissioners to take a look at that and see how those codes are really actually working for the betterment of the community. In conjunction with that, your time for doing this and sitting on the Planning and Zoning Commission, I know this is a very, 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 very tough commission to sit on. We have so much wonderful people want to come to our city to do business, which I'm really, really proud of. And so I know you guys are really meeting more. You, the commission, have taken up the marijuana issue, which is a really tough conversations. I've watched a few of the commission meeting. Also want to thank you more than anything else for listening to some residents in Blue Hills neighborhood who felt that certain amount of housing shouldn't be placed on a small piece of property. So, the feedback from the residents felt that they were able to come to the commission and were able to voice their concerns, and the commission listened. So I just want to thank the commissioners for doing that, Mr. Bazzano. Thank you guys very much for listening. I think it was last week at the commission meeting. So
Madam
that's
Chair,
all I have.
if I could, before we make the motion,
Yes, ma'am.
I think, to this council body, Councilman Sanchez, will like to start attending these meetings and see actually what the entire process is. And I can't keep up with every commission. Who chairs P and Z now?
Her name.
Josie Udick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Josie Udick.
Thank you. Thank you.
One of the
And
great
Aaron Gill
things-
is vice chair.
One of the great things, Madam Council President, it's virtual. So I always like to go back and catch, especially since it works with our committee. I don't catch it every month, but I certainly, between the Planning and Zoning Commission and the Redevelopment Commission, we can always go back and watch those commission meetings, and they're virtual, so it's a great thing. I think I see more residents join those commissions and actually are voicing their concerns. Do you get that sort of feedback, Mr. Bazzano or Mr. Frank, from the community?
Yeah, I do. I think, the Zoom meetings for any, some good things came out of COVID, right? And I think virtual meetings is probably one of the biggest things that were to the benefit of this whole pandemic. And we get a great deal, to your point about the Blue Hills neighborhood and that application we denied last week. We get a lot of people that come to the meetings, which is awesome to see. When we were at the Constitution Plaza, I don't mind saying it because we're not there anymore, it was a horrible location. Okay. You had public hearings that the public couldn't get into because the doors locked at Constitution Plaza at 6 o'clock. Okay, so that was a big issue. So having them virtual or being able to eventually be in person, as we've had a couple meetings and still do virtual, I think is great. And it brings more people out to these meetings, which is so important because, as you all know, we get plenty of people that have something to say, but they don't show up for anything. So it's important that people come onto these meetings, and it's as easy as clicking the buttons, as you guys know, on the computer or on your phone, and you're in the meeting. So the buy-in is really good as far as the amount of people coming in and being in our meetings, which is great.
Well, no, thank you. As I said, I thank the commissioners for listening to the community. And I think that's a great interaction that, you have a few people may disagree with your decisions, but the outpouring, which I saw at your commission meeting about a week ago, and the questions you ask to the community, and you certainly was involved in listening. You actually really listening to, they may not have the technical expertise as you all, but you certainly listen to their opinion of what they would like to see in their neighborhood. So I myself would just like to personally thank you for that and watching that commission meeting. Any more comments before we may have a motion on the floor?
Yes.
Go ahead, sir.
Mr. Bazzano, I do like that background. That's all.
Background and Stowe Village streets. Not sure which one is going to win today. Is the motion on the floor?
Yes, I'd like to make
a motion to send this item favorably back to the council body.
Second.
Great. The motion has been properly made and second. Any comments, concerns? Hearing none. How do we say we vote on sending back favorably to?
Aye.
Great. Thank you. Mr. Frank, Mr. Bazzano, and Mr. Hirizari. Did I get that right?
Yes.
All right. Oh, yes. All right. I've been practicing silently. I've been sitting here silently practicing your name so I could have gotten it correct in the end. Mr. Arizari, thank you so very much for your patience. And also thank you for stepping up to the plate. And congratulations, Mr. Bazzano. I will see you again in another 3 years, God willing.
You still owe me a coffee, Councilwoman Surgeon, so I'm just waiting for you.
Good memory. You see,
I do. See,
old. Wow, you got a great memory. Mr.
COVID
Frank,
hit. There was nothing we could do about that once COVID hit.
Thank you for understanding. And Mr. Frank, I remember you when we appointed you last year, and you come back again. And so, thank you so very much for staying with us and wanting to serve the residents in the city of Hartford.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thanks for what you do too.
Definitely.
Right. Well, thank you. So this, congratulations, and we're going to send favorably to the council. So we've got one, please keep joining us. We've got one additional item in the committee, and that is a resolution by Councilman Sanchez, Councilman Rossetti, Council President Rosado, authorizing the creation and implementation of a South Meadow Area Redevelopment Task Force, SMART, again, SMART, which is South Meadow Area Redevelopment Task Force. That item was item number 7-2 on our October 12th, 2021 agenda. And do we have anyone who would like to speak on this resolution?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so, I'm actually proposing to postpone so that I can amend this resolution to improve it with the language of how many members will we be appointing to this task force. Also, how will these members be appointed, which I will be expecting for council to make the appointments. I will be also having a letter drafted and sent out to the entire council for their consideration and searching appointees as well. So, but just before I make that motion to postpone this item, I would like to share that the reason for this task force, as it states in the first resolve, is to determine the most efficient process for realizing the closure of the Brandon Airfield Airport first, and also this is including the recovery of the 91, almost 100 acres of the land that the Mirror Trash Plant is sitting on right now, and also consideration of what is feasible and what would benefit the city of Hartford when it comes to redeveloping a total of 300 acres. Land that right now we don't have for development in these certain neighborhoods. So this is a development that definitely will benefit the city of Hartford and its residents, and also giving the opportunity, if we can put this 300 acres back on the grand list, is a huge opportunity where we can realize true revenue and bring that mill rate down, also supporting our homeowners and small businesses. So I would like to make a motion, if no one, so I'll stop right there, and then I'll make a motion after in case anyone else has any statements.
I'm not sure if any of the committee members have any comments or questions.
I don't have any comments. I would second the motion.
Okay. Okay, the motion for postponement has been properly in second. So we will be voting yes or no on this, supporting this motion to postpone the item.
Aye.
Okay, great, aye. All right, so we'll postpone this item, item 2.2, until our next committee meeting. And at that time, Councilman Sanchez, you will be bringing in an amended resolution?
Correct.
Okay, great. Thank you, sir. That is only 3 items we have had on the agenda for the PD and H committee. That is it for us for this evening. I want to thank all the members who have joined us this evening. I want to congratulate all the Hartford residents who is continuing to support and serve and to continue to make Hartford a better place to live and play. So if I have a motion to adjourn the meeting, I will do so.
So moved.
Great. Good night, everyone.
Good night,
everyone.
Thank
you very much. Thank you, Mr. Fasalo.
Good night, everyone.
I said it right. Attorney Fasalo. Attorney Fasalo. I'm getting it. I'm practicing. Good night, everyone. Have a good evening.
Everybody.
Good night.